Hello everyone, Miss Carrie here from Miss Carrie's Creations. Today I am sharing a new design team project with stencils and chipboard pieces that I know you will enjoy. This layout will involve a few mixed media elements, and I'm going to share some simple tricks to help you recreate this design. Today I'm working with some chipboard and stencil designs from the Dusty Attic. This is a new product in my craft room and I'm loving all the possibilities. I like that these are thinner chipboard pieces, which means that I'm going to be able to create some lovely layers in my scrapbook. For today's page, I'm using some winter forest pieces, a title, some sentiments, leaves, arrows, and phrases. I'm also going to bring in this creative script stencil to create a background for my page. As I design the layout, I'll bring in pattern papers, ephemera, and other elements to this design, and I'll make sure that I add a list of the supplies in the description below. I am working with some photo play papers and 49 and Market ephemera. The photo was taken on a train ride through Alaska, so I want to give this page a rustic nature feel. At this moment, I am working out which patterns and ephemera bits I want to use on the page. I'll be layering some of the chipboard pieces within these elements, but I need to create a base for the photo first so that I can work on the background. Now that I have all the items in place, I'm going to mark where the items are sitting and bring in some elements to create my background. If you visited my channel in the past, you know that I like to keep things simple and I enjoy sharing ways to make it look like you've used a lot of mixed media when it's really just a stencil, a stamp, or in today's case, transfer rub-ons. These are from 49 and Market, and they are great little pieces to have in your paper craft collection. They look like stamps or stencils or paint smushes, but they are much easier to apply and you don't have to wait for anything to dry. When I'm applying transfers, I like to cut out the individual images and secure them in place with mint tape. This mint tape creates a little hinge, which allows me to lift up the transfer sheet and check to see if everything transferred over before I remove the backing sheet. With these images, you don't need to be perfect. They're meant to look worn and messy and random, so it's okay if you make a few mistakes and don't transfer the image completely. I've gone ahead and added a few of them that look like paint smushes, others look like text, and some look like stamped images. And I'm just placing these in the different corners so that they can create a frame around the layout. Now I want to bring in a little bit of texture with that script stencil. I'm going to use a neutral toned paste to apply some bits of script diagonally across the page. I am going to cover up some of the transfers to create a nice layered look in the background. Now, not all of this is going to show, which is completely fine. I just want bits and pieces that peek out behind the pattern paper. While the texture paste dries, I'm going to work on the little chipboard pieces. These pieces can be covered with paint, sprays, wax, or ink. They are a little bit porous, and you need to be aware of that when you add color. The title here has been prepped with white gesso, and the border has been left untreated. I'll be adding Distress Oxide sprays to both of these, and once they're dry, I'm going to be able to show you the difference between a chipboard piece that has been prepped and one that hasn't. As I add the layers of spray, they are going to appear much more vibrant on that prepped surface. The ink isn't soaking in like it is on the border. Now, if you add multiple layers like I am here, you're going to see that my border pops up a little bit as it soaks in the moisture. Now, this only happened to me with the border, and I think it's because it's such a long piece. As I dried it with a heat tool, it settled back down perfectly flat and it didn't warp, which was really great. If you're going to use multiple layers of a water-based spray, those are going to soak into the chipboard, and it's going to take a lot longer for them to dry if they're not prepped ahead of time. My suggestion would be to prep these with gesso or paint if you're going to use a water-based medium. All right, I'm going to finish adding color to the rest of my chippies, and then I'll show you how the page comes together. As you can see, this background turned out beautifully. I've already layered and stitched my pattern papers together, and when I lay it over the background, it looks like it took me hours to add paint splatters and stamped images, but it was just printed transfers and stencil paste. Before I adhere the notebook border in place, I do want to add a little bit of pattern to it with an ink and a stencil. This is another Dusty Attic stencil in my collection, and I love the texture that it brings to pieces. I'm just using a small blender brush with Uncharted Mariner ink to apply this textured stencil. Then I'm going to use some black soot to darken the edges and create a nice vignette effect. And then I'll go over everything again with that Uncharted Mariner to just blend it all together. While I do this, I would love it if you tap that subscribe button and let me know in the comments that you're new here so that I can welcome you. If you're already a subscriber, you can let me know that you're enjoying today's project by tapping that thumbs up icon or letting me know your thoughts in the comments. When the stenciling was complete, I started to add the rest of the elements to the page. I have the border tucked behind the photo, and I'm layering the wood grain pattern over the top. Now the border was a bit too long, so I cut it apart. You're never going to know once all the elements are laid down. Around the photo, I'm going to add some chipboard leaves. These are going to bring in some neutral hues and create a lovely frame around the photo. Here's how I added color to the leaves. Now these don't have any gesso on them because I'm just using ink to color them. I started out with ground espresso, and then I brought in some hickory smoke along the tips, a little bit of black soot ink along the base of the leaves, and then I blended those colors all together with espresso. I find that when you're creating florals and leaves, it's best to use a few different colors blended together to make them look more natural. Now I'm going to finish adding these leaves over on the other side of the photo, and then I'm going to bring in some chipboard frames and a few little pieces of ephemera. These chipboard pieces and the tickets are all various 49 and market collections that I have that needed used up. To make this more cohesive, I'm adding some espresso ink around the edges of each one. Now some of these are going to be layered with foam tape because I love adding dimension to my pages, but feel free to adhere them flatter to the page if you wish. I've also grabbed my little mini stapler here, and I'm adding a few staples to those tickets just to bring in another texture to the page. Now, not only are these tickets going to bring in a lovely green color, which is going to match the trees I'm going to add, they're also helping to create a horizontal grounding piece, and this just creates a nice platform for that photo to sit on. Behind that photo frame, I created a pocket, and inside that pocket, I'm placing a little journaling card. Now at this point, it is blank because I am giving this page away, and I'm going to let this couple fill out their story on that card. I enjoy adding little phrases on my scrapbook pages, which is why I truly enjoy the collection of sentiments available. I have selected 2 of them to place underneath the photo, and together they're going to say "Sweet Memories Captured." At the base of the page, I'm going to adhere that title in place. Now, my impatience got the best of me, and these weren't quite dry yet, and you're going to notice that there are a few ink smudges that appear on the page, but a sand eraser took care of those right away. Around the photo, I am going to add some pine trees that I shaded with Distress Oxide inks. Now, because these are 3-dimensional and I'm adding them in between all of the layers, I'm using a liquid adhesive to hold them in place. And then I just need to hold them down for a few moments until that adhesive dries, and then I can move on to the other pieces. You really can't use a foam tape with these thinner chipboard pieces, so you have to make sure that you do have enough of a foundation so that they don't bend once you place them inside of an album. Off camera, I felt like this page needed a fibrous texture. So I gently lifted up the wood grain paper and added some neutral twine. I'm also going to add some more twine and a few more elements up near the journal card to finish off the page. This small circle was shaded to match the other blue elements, and I've tucked some twine behind it. Now, I've discovered when it comes to adding little text elements like this, it's best to use a white pigment or a pale gray pigment ink over the words so that they stand out a little bit better. All right, I'm going to finish adding these elements and then I'll share the completed page with you. I didn't add much more to this page other than 2 little enamel hearts near the journal card. I'm leaving this card blank so that this couple can add their own story before they place it in their album. I really love how this page came together with all the colors and textures, and I enjoyed sharing a few ways to use these new chipboard pieces from the Dusty Attic. The layout was created to record the story of an Alaskan vacation, and the elements truly speak to the beauty that they enjoyed while they were there. The layers of chipboard leaves, trees, and sentiments bring some great color and texture to the page with all of those gorgeous pattern papers in the background. If you're one who enjoys pinning projects to inspiration boards, I have placed still shots of this project on the Dusty Attic blog and on my website for you to use. To see more creative ideas, visit the Dusty Fanatics group on Facebook. I want to thank you for joining me today, and I hope this project inspired you to try something new. If you have any questions about this page or the supplies listed below, feel free to post that in the comments. I hope that you have a wonderful week, and I can't wait to see what you create.